Good evening, and thank you so much for making the time to be with us. My name is Medrin Nyambura. The show is This Is the Day, and we're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. And this Tuesday, we are going to talk about another aspect of our careers, mainly looking at the impact of tech. So allow me to read something. There was a study that was done at the Oxford University that showed that 45% of all current jobs will disappear in the next 10 years, with some of them being completely automated and at least the others getting to a point where you need less workforce. Okay, to be honest, even my job is not safe. Apparently, there'll be robots who can do this job. So today we have the discussion whereby if your job in the next 10, 20, 30 years is going to be obsolete, what do you need to do now to make sure you're relevant for you and even your kids who will come and pick careers? And the director of Champion Center by the name of Mr. Paul Karaoke is here to have this discussion with us. Hi, Paul.
Hi to you.
You're not my friend.
Why?
Paul asked me a very personal question, but karibu sana, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
So when you hear that technology will change the workspace, is it something that's exciting for you or is it something that's frightening?
I think it could be both sides. It depends on whether you are prepared for it or not.
Okay.
For those who are prepared, it's very exciting. For those who are not prepared, it's quite alarming. But the good thing about preparation is that as much as it's coming, it is not coming full blast.
Okay.
It is gradual. So even for those who feel a bit around, I think they still can take time because it is not something that is just coming as an outburst. It is progressive.
Okay,
yeah.
I like that, and we were saying we'll look at that later.
Exactly.
But allow me to just sample a few careers. So you hear of lawyers. Apparently, we'll get to a point whereby 33% of those jobs will be automated. Mimi niko na swali. Is it that a robot will go to court, or are we talking about paperwork? Do you think it's actually possible for the legal industry?
I think in one way or another it is true because even the way crime is going to be, I think even the way crime is going, it's more of automation.
Okay.
And I'll give you a very good example. Somebody, 10 years ago, if it was robbing in the bank, people would just go and break the bank.
Yes.
But right now, through ICT system, people are just robbing everything. And that means the lawyers who are coming in today must also understand the system.
Okay.
Who is this who messed up with the PIN? Who is this that messed up with wiring? So I think even in terms of, it is not that physically robots will go to present the case, but it's the lawyers who are supposed to understand the kind of automation the systems within the banking system.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember the issue of KRA.
Exactly.
That
Although
was
I
a
know
lot of
there
money.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a lot of money. Although I know there is
Yeah.
an issue of people robbing the bank in KCB Thika,
Yes.
digging the channels. It
Yes.
is not the issue of that the lawyers will be obsolete.
Yes.
It is the issue that the lawyers should also understand the system that works in the bank, so that even as you defend your client, you need
Okay.
to understand what is these systems that he messed about. Is it
Okay.
the management that was liable, or is it the clients that were?
Okay,
Exactly.
so it will get to a point where you have no excuse to not be tech savvy.
No, you must understand. I'll even give you a very good example.
Okay.
You remember recently during when we had an election, we had an issue of somebody messed with the servers. The lawyers must have understood what was happening. And I liked something, the senior lawyer Paul Muite said, that the guys on the other side are asleep. What he meant is that they are not physically asleep, is that they have already switched off the systems. So it is good even to understand what time was the systems working. What was the data that was fed? What data was captured? I think those are the things that the lawyers need to understand.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now I'm thinking law is already hard. Now they have to be
It
tech
is.
savvy as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at the insurance industry. And I was telling you earlier of a story that's very close to me in the 1990s when the computers came. You know, some part of the workforce of the insurance was let go. And then now they're also saying, and this according to a report by The Guardian, that there will be software that can analyze, interpret all your data and come up and process your what are you paid once
Your claims.
your claims. Yes.
Yeah.
So they'll have systems where your claims are processed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, kuna watu, that's what they do today. So are we
Exactly.
telling them their jobs are done, or what are you saying?
You know, wherever we have ever been, what IT do, it doesn't replace human beings completely, because you see, there is no computer that can run it on its own. It
Okay.
needs somebody to manage it. It needs somebody to feed it. Actually, what is software? Software is data that has already been installed into a system.
Yes.
It's not that we are dealing with them obsolete, but what we are saying, we are having what we call job merging. What we could have done, what the ICT is doing, what I was doing physically is being done by a computer.
Yes.
I'll give you a very good example. I don't know whether the people who are watching us would know that you're only two of us in the studio. There is nobody who is even
Thanks,
recording
Paul.
it. Exactly.
Thank you, Paul.
Exactly. People may think that there are people behind the cameras. There's
Yes.
no one.
Yes.
Because somebody have already set the system and they have already gone. So you can imagine people who are supposed to be now here setting us have already gone home.
Yeah.
So it is. So we are two of us, by the way, and it's a very lonely place, but we shall continue. But I think what we are talking about is that the system is going, removing some people. Those. What would I call them? Those not key people. I think in a job that was done by 10 people,
yes,
it's only one person who will be left.
Okay.
Because even robots need people to manage them. A robot needs to be switched on and to be switched off. So we still need people, but very few people who are required. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and let me look at something that's the backbone of our economy, agriculture. I'm sure right now my producer is thinking, did Paul just say there's no one in the studio? Okay, let's look at agriculture. And I'll give an example of Kirinyaga County where there are machines to actually pick, to harvest the rice.
Exactly.
Which means you don't need half the people.
Yeah.
And I think my worry for me is, even as we're excited about this, as the government comes up with all these ideas, what happens to the farmer or the casual laborer who depended on that 500 or 700 bob to actually have it and go home? What happens to them?
Well, it will be quite a very painful system for everyone, because I think, as you are saying, there are those guys who are casual, who never went to school and who always rely on those casual jobs to do everything. It is a very painful time for them, and I totally agree. I will give you a very good example as I go to that. Go even to any bank. You'll find like so many teller boxes or teller avenues.
Yes.
There are no people, but they are already there. And that can tell you that already the way we are going, as much as the banking has already replaced people, that's also what is happening in agriculture.
Okay.
And I don't know how in Africa we shall deal with it, because the good thing is that people in other countries, their curriculum was already IT friendly. But in our curriculum, we don't. I was making fun with some people, and I hope I'm not giving a leakage. You may be very surprised to realize the KCSE the students will do this year. The biology people, they'll be told to dissect a cockroach. Surely, what will a cockroach help somebody 10 years from now? Like right now, like me, even when I was in high school, our KCSE, we dissected a cockroach. I see cockroaches running in my house. Is it interested? Am I interested with anything? I remember something I saw my son doing in class. I think, was it a grasshopper? He's asked, sijui thorax, sijui abdomen. What would that help him? And the guys we are talking about are competing with somebody in US who is already, let me use this word, dissecting a computer. Somebody in class 3 already know what a software is and everything. So I think we need now to start changing something to do with our syllabus, our curriculum. Otherwise, by the end of the day, we'll be having so many zombies within our society, and only very few people who are very IT savvy will be earning. So we'll be creating so many people in robbery compared to so many bright people in the society. I think our curriculum is quite messed up.
Okay.
And that's why it's not the curriculum that is running people obsolete. It's the government, I think, that has messed people where we are right now.
Okay. Ifikie Ambassador Mina Mohammed.
Please, there's something need to be done. It's a big, and I don't know what will, but I'm waiting to see what, it's a very funny curriculum. I'll tell you, I'm in the education sector. It's a very funny curriculum. And unless something is addressed, then we need to stop ICT. And we cannot stop it because we're in a global world.
It's true.
But we need to do something in the education sector.
Okay. As you say that, I'm pretty sure the person watching and listening is going through all the things they studied that they never used today.
Exactly.
Like, I need someone to explain calculus to me and why it was so hard.
You can imagine.
Yeah. So let me ask you a personal question.
Please do.
Would you get into a car, say an Uber or a Taxify, whatever company, that has no driver?
I think I would, because...
On Kenyan roads?
No, in Kenya, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think I would rather the car follows me rather than me entering inside the car. I don't think I would.
Okay.
With the car roads, it's not safe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking this because in other countries they're sampling, automated cars that do not need drivers.
Yeah.
And while this is exciting, we were having the discussion earlier, and I'm thinking, my friend, Jogo Road, Thika Road, automated cars, you will die. But do you think we will get to that point?
I think we may get. I love something that the government is doing. Almost all roads, it is creating lanes.
Yes.
Like we had a road that was 2 lanes, it's now becoming 6 lanes. I think that is the way to go.
Okay.
Within no time, we'll be having some cars headed to a particular direction and others coming. But a road where it is 1 lane with these matatus, I think we cannot even allow that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you hear of that, and taxi drivers in the US, China, they're saying, we are losing our jobs to automated cars. And I'm thinking, is it, you've said that we need to merge the two, but in that situation, you're literally being replaced.
Yeah.
Because one person can operate, say, 10 taxis and get them to where they need to be. Yeah. So does that mean at some point, watu wa Uber hawatakuwa na kazi, or what happens?
I think that's the direction we are going. And let's even start from Uber right now.
Yeah.
Remember, even when Uber came, there was a lot of noise in the market because people felt, I think it is coming to replace, we are not used to this system. But unfortunately, you see, we are in a market that is not producer-driven, but consumer-driven. If customers are comfortable, you have no option other than going the way things are going.
Okay.
You may be very sure with the question you have asked me, would I drive in a car that has no driver? If the customers are comfortable, within no time you'll find those cars all over in the market. So, because our market is consumer-driven and not producer-driven. The producer, like, I'll give you a very good example. I see so many taxi drivers in town who resisted Uber.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they have no option. In fact, majority of them now are going to that direction. So the question by the end of the day is, how prepared is the consumer? Not necessarily the producer. Like, I love the question you asked me, what will we do with the farmers up country? It's not, because the farmers by the end of the day are producing things for the consumer. So the person who matters on how the market will go is the consumer. Okay. So I think by the end of the day, the producers loses it because the consumers would be way ahead. Okay. It's like the phones we are using. There are some guys who are still using button phones. Yes. But if the customers are not buying, you have no option than now declaring all that stock obsolete. So the person we should look at here is not necessarily the producer, but the consumer. Okay. Exactly. When you say the phone, I remembered there's a young teenager who asked me, what that was, because they've never seen a buttons on a phone. And in a few years, the Android would not also make sense. Exactly. Allow me to look at something else that's very sensitive, financial analysts and stock traders. Is it going to get to a point where you can actually trust a machine with your money? Because an analyst will tell you, this is the best stock to invest in. So will we trust AI, which is artificial intelligence, with our money to actually invest it for us? Will it get to that point? Actually, we are almost there. It's not even whether we shall. We are almost there. Utapatia mtu pesa yako. Let me even shock you. Yes. I love the questions you ask, Kiwi. Yes. Do you know, today you go to the bank, and you find a very big queue in the banking mall, and the option you are told, take this money to the ATM and deposit it. Na saa zingine unaingiza pesa unashindwa, are you sure zimeingia? You see? You're getting it? So the question is that's where we are going. And that's why I'm saying, unfortunately, let me say, the Kenyan economy, and especially the African economy, are usually in the capital cities. Yes. So the rural areas may kind of resist a bit, but what is happening in Nairobi dictates on what is happening in others, because even it's almost like all services are getting devolved. Okay. The question is that they'll be resistant, but that is the way to go. The stock market is run in Nairobi. Yes. As much as people even in the rural areas are investing, but this is where everything is going. Okay. And let me also say this, and I'm sure you know this. In the stock market, you don't only have the Kenyan company. We even have the US company trading the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So if that is the way to go, I'm so sure the fears will be there. But with time, I think things are changing. Okay. Yeah. So it's like me asking you, would I trust you if you sent me an M-Pesa of 70,000? But if I sent you 70,000 through M-Pesa, would you trust that money, or you want me to give you in cash? Send it, we see. No. I think let's send it after show. I have forgotten my PIN, but. Sawa. Thank you. We are just getting started. If you have any questions, 22316 0786 316 316, talking about what your job and mine will mean in a couple of years in the wake of technology. So keep sending your questions. But for now, let's listen to the Newsboys. Recap. I absolutely love that band with the song You. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, talking about what it means for your job and mine in the wake of technology. And there's somebody who sent in a very interesting comment, so I'll start with that. We are not very many here in Kenya.
Sorry, let me see what you were saying before. Okay, we are not very many here in Kenya. Let's not try that unless we want to increase the case of theft and drug addiction, suicide, and render education useless. Let robots work in industries like packaging, loading, and offloading. Maybe you'll give your comment on that. Also, hi there. This is a very good friend to the family. You're Jed. You're saying, I'm curious, for those in the media, entertainment, actors, musicians, producers, authors, bloggers, DJs, are we safe or are we headed to a point where robots could actually bring the house down? Yes, I like that question. And when we went off, I was telling you about movie stars. That it turns out in Hollywood, it's going to get to a point whereby they're going to use something called CGI technology. And I'm sure animation people get this, where you can use an actor repeatedly over and over again and make them look how old you want them to be in the script. So if you want Lupita Nyong'o to remain 31, she will remain 31. And I saw this and I thought, our industry has not even gotten teeth yet. So when this comes, is it going to interfere with everything? And I like the question she asked, creatives, where do we go?
Exactly. And I would want to tell people this way, that be it in media or any other industry, what makes somebody relevant in a career is creativity.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that our schools have robbed us is creativity. You know, we go to schools where we are given curriculum that does not fit in our own industry. As I was telling you, even the exam that students are doing right now, they may not help them to be creative. Like, for example, any Form 4 student who would want to become an accountant would wonder why he's studying so much biology in depth, why he would need to understand more about skeleton, why he would need to understand what, more about intestines.
Dissect
not that he
a
should
cockroach.
not know, but, dissecting a cockroach or something like that. You wonder why he wants to do that. Why? Well, if he was given a particular line, he would pursue that. I would want to encourage anybody who is watching me.
Yes.
About something we usually call the 5 P's of a career.
Yes.
Number 1, passion. Once you understand your area of passion, you even become creative in that particular area because you see it's something that you love. Number 2 is something that is called pay. Pay means that why we go for careers is because we want it to further, to help us generate our own income.
Yes.
So the question is, if you feel the career you are going is becoming a bit threatened, ask yourself, how do I further or how do I deviate to get in a place that can give me better jobs? For example, somebody went and did a bachelor's in banking and is understanding what is happening in the banking industry. The question you should ask him or herself is, before I get eliminated, what can I be doing in part-time or what can I do in my master's level so that it makes sure that as much as I may be removed from my job, what makes me continue earning? Another thing is personality. Careers do a lot with personality. Somebody may ask himself, as much as I'm in banking, my personality, can I be a good MC? Can I be a good motivational speaker? Can I be good in media? You ask yourself, what can my personality do other than what I do? You may even find somebody who is in banking and can do very good in church. You see, can even do very good as a musician. Another thing, I think it's the prevailing market. What we are discussing today is the changes in the prevailing market. We cannot stop it. It is coming. Technology is coming. We don't need to fear. What we need to do is to confront it. And we can only confront it through creativity.
Okay.
The question even we're asking ourselves, and let me even say this, probably in Africa, people have not so much embraced technology so much. So I think it is something that may take a lot of time. So I don't think we need to be alarmed, but I think it should also act as a sign that things are not very well in the near future.
Okay.
The banking people resisted it, but you see right now, even as much as I would want money from my bank in Equity, I don't need to go to queue in Equity. I already have an Equitel, SIM card here.
Yes.
So we don't need to keep resisting. We don't need to fear. What we need to do in the education sector, I think we need to embrace the technology. The people in the society, they should also realize that I think things are changing. We don't want to instill fear. We need to instill hope that as things change, what are you doing about it?
I like that. Yeah. And there's somebody who's texted in on 22316 saying even accountants are not safe. Our company is currently doing a project that does reconciliation of accounts, receivables and payables using artificial intelligence.
In fact, I would tell you, because I'm an accountant by profession.
Yes.
Even leave alone that, even some of the packages we have, like I'll tell you, because I'm a board chairman in several schools. In fact, what we are doing, you just need to feed in information. These people have paid school fees. These are the accounts on what is supposed to go in which. And the system itself even gives you the balances.
Okay.
We don't need a basa to tell us, Karaoke owes the school 30,000. Wamboi owes the school 15,000. There's a system that shows you have paid this. It goes indicate this money is for tuition and this. So I think it is everything that is going obsolete. What we are talking about is How IT relevant are you right now? Because you cannot do away with it. And let me even say this. The government nowadays is not a good employer. The person
Yes.
who is a good employer is the private sector. And the person who is private, you need to understand, is there for profit. So he would do anything that makes sure that it maximizes profit. Even if a computer can come there and work without a person, a private guy would be very comfortable with that. And that's why nowadays, even you would say, Kitambo, we used to have even like 10 watchmen in a compound.
Yes.
With a CCTV, everything is good to go.
Yes.
So we don't even have watchmen, we don't have security guys relevant. So I think what we need to ask ourselves, how can we be creative? Not how can we be educated. Guys are looking for papers. Guys are going for evening classes. Technology is not about papers, MBAs, MBAs, MBZ. It's not about that. It's about creativity.
Okay.
God created us to be creative, not to be educated.
Okay. I like that you bring the God aspect, because also in the Bible, this is predicted that there will come a time where men will be wise and technology will be here. So how do you tap in? But before we answer that question, let me clarify something with you.
Yeah, please do.
In the sector of education, even I personally, from experience, you look at a course, and if you think of the cost of you going to a certain university, it's going to cost so much. But then there's an online platform with a third person who's a master in whatever they do, and they teach you that course for what? $180, which is a very little money compared. So the other day I was thinking, what you're getting online, is it still valid compared to what is in the schools now? Because there's a course, like say writing. You will take a course for 8 weeks, and I promise you it's as good as. But will that still be valuable in a world where people are considering how tech savvy you are? I think it would be and it would not be, because you see sometimes interacting with a teacher one-on-one gives you a lot of confidence. You feel like there are some questions you would feel you can relate very well. Well, and I think we are also used, we are bringing an ICT environment to a person who is so much used to relate with a teacher in class. I think the question is adaptability, but we don't have any option by the end of the day, because I'm even thinking our kids who have been given gadgets by the government from class 1 and think, there are some children who are having laptop. Yes.
I can tell you from the pressure the government is getting from hiring teachers, by the time these children get to high school, I think they will be using ICT in classes. We may not even require teachers. So it is the way to go. It's only that us who are older generation, we are resisting it because we are not used to it. Okay. But that is the way to go.
Because humans actually
I can tell you, even in
change.
churches,
yes.
One pastor will be running so many congregations at home. He doesn't even need to come to church. It is the way to go, and we have no option.
And it's happening now because there are people on Sunday who may not make it to church, but there's an international church somewhere, so they just stream
even
live.
Even it's not that they can't make it, they don't want to go. They want to watch it at home. Let's
Paul, I'm trying to be positive.
Look, people want to stay at home. And let me even say this. And in fact, it's a question, allow me to even ask you.
Yes.
Sometimes when I see a pastor saying, watch me Facebook Live.
Yes.
What is he telling his congregants? Stay at home instead of coming to... Sometimes I don't also understand.
Okay, let me tell you, Paul. What I have a problem with is tweet this and you're in church. Because if you send a tweet, a WhatsApp message will come, there'll be a video. So by the time you're done with what you're checking, the someone is over. That's the only challenge I have. Exactly. But there's somebody who's saying that we can't resist change. And I totally agree. It's actually coming for us. But there's something you said as well, that creativity cannot be replaced. And I think maybe that's what we need to tell people. Yeah, maybe explain that.
It's unfortunate that our schools taught us to cram and to answer, but it has never taught us about creativity. Okay. I'll give you one of the biggest messes that we are done in primary school. And I think as we go to schools, the same happens. You go to class, and then the exam that the KCP students will sit on, it will be, which of the following is a rake in, for example, in Kenya? And they'll be told A, B, C, D. You have not even been given a chance to think, because already the options have already been given. Okay. The problem with our system of education, it teaches us questions and answers, and it has never given any room for creativity. And that's why you see, even the students in the university, and I share this because I've been a lecturer in the university, the much they can do is to copy exams, because they have never been taught to be creative. Okay. You go to China, you go to America, and the reason as why they are very high in technology is because the system of education is about creativity. Yes. The Bible says that God is a creator. The word creator comes from what? The word creativity. We are told that men were created in the image of God. So we are supposed to be creators. And I'm telling you this, until the government changes our curriculum to become creative oriented, we're in a very great mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe, the way we have the ICT sector and you have
Yeah.
somebody at the top, we
Yeah.
probably need a techie up there as well to explain all these things.
Exactly.
There's a question for you. Hi, I'm thinking of doing a master's degree. Kindly advise on what courses that will stand a good test of the years. And that was going to be my next question. So what careers are we looking at for people?
I'll advise anybody who is doing master. Personally, I'm doing my PhD, but we usually tell them there are two approaches of going upward. You can either go vertical or horizontal. Let me explain that. Assume I did a bachelor's of commerce in accounting. The way I see them, it is the market that, it's the market that is demanding me, not me demanding the market. You don't even people in the university think that there are jobs there outside.
They're waiting for them.
There's nothing like that. What you do, it is you to package yourself so that you can be relevant in the market. I usually advise them, when you have done a bachelor's of commerce, depending, accounting, depending on the way you are seeing the market, you can choose either to do another degree, even without doing masters, depending on how probably your job skill is going. Somebody can even say, I have done a bachelor's in accounting. I don't need to do masters. I can do another degree in science probably to diversify. Or number two, I can still do, like me, I did a bachelor in commerce in accounting, but when I went to my master's, I did strategic management. Because I felt if I didn't do another master's in accounting, somebody may come and replace me, because in accounting, it's not about the number of papers you have, but the kind of experience you have. Because these people are also, the question is, when my employer is looking for a person, because like right now I was checking, there is a degree that people are offering that is called BBIT.
Yes.
BBIT replaced BCom. BBIT is Bachelor's of Business and IT, meaning hii job imechukua watu wawili. It has taken a person who has done business management and ICT. So the person of ICT becomes irrelevant. So I'm telling this person who is doing a degree.
Yes, a master's. They are planning to do a master's.
Before you do it, ask yourself, how relevant will it be in terms of job market? Is it that I just want to do it, or will it diversify my competence? Because somebody would say, but I feel I'm very good in ICT. So instead of looking for the same line, why don't you diversify in another degree? Because it's not even about employability. It's also about, in case a job is not there, can I still be relevant in the economy? Let's not look for employability. By the way, I know so many guys who are graduates and they are still tarmacking, because the papers they have, it never went with what they feel. Because we are not looking for employment, we are looking for work.
Let me tell you,
between jobs and work.
Yesterday we had a team of fantastic men who came and said they were talking about the systems in Kenya and how it's not working. And when you have 7 million young Kenyans, 1.8 have given up. They're saying we're not looking for jobs and people have to get creative. But I was going to follow up with that question of the masters. What's the place of short courses? What happens if, say, the way you're saying diversify? So I'm an accountant, but I've discovered I'm actually good with, say, doing audits for companies. Is it better to do a short course? Would you advise for somebody to do that? Because maybe you don't have 4 years to do a degree.
The problem with our economy is short courses are not regarded as a certificate. I like something Bill Gates said. I never went to school for certificate. I went to school for knowledge. In fact, if you ask Bill Gates, he doesn't even have any certificate. He used to say that when I reached a place and I felt I have acquired enough information, I would drop from class and go home. The problem with our system is, like, and I'll tell you this, the employer is saying, if you have an MBA, your job group goes up and your salary goes up. Nobody is regarding short courses. But short courses are good for personal growth, not necessarily for increase, going higher. So I think somebody should, and this is what we are telling the guys who are watching us. Don't only work because, like I know so many guys, in fact right now if you go to classes, they're even in classes, so many students are in class looking for promotion. In fact, some of them are saying, give me the transcript, my boss is looking for it. But what about if you work so hard and then after 2 years your boss tells you, I'm not in need of you? So the question is, don't do short courses for your boss. Do them for yourself. So go and do some short courses. You can do some auditing so that you can say, although I'm good in accounting, but I can be doing some part-time job of bookkeeping or opening my auditing firm. So let's not look as if we are studying for our bosses, but for our own investment.
I hear you. Keep sending your questions, 22316 0786 316 316. Any question you may have, we want to make sure that in 5 years your job is actually relevant. For now, we listen to Bulletproof by Citizen Way, and then we'll answer those questions. By Laura, a story, beautiful song they are playing on Family TV. We're also live on Family Radio, just trying to understand what to do to make sure our jobs make sense. So listen, we've already painted the picture for you, but let me give you some hope. It's not all bad. But before we get to that, somebody saying, hi, grateful to be part of the amazing show. Thank you so much. You are appreciated for tuning in. And you've also sent in your comments saying, in my own experience, colleges and universities are beginning to lose students to the YouTube University. Have you heard of YU? YouTube University.
Yeah.
Nimeyetu haina certificate.
Yeah,
I studied programming completely free using tutorials and free books that are available on the web. No need to pay for computer science in university. Now I'm making websites and apps without have stepped into any computer science class, and that's James. Where? Okay. Somebody else saying, my son has decided to discontinue his computer science degree. He's in the second year. He's into music and prefers to carry on with that ministry in church. What do you advise?
As you've said that, you see, career is not about papers. It's about passion.
Okay.
It is something I would also want to do, even long after, something that I enjoy doing. I'll give you a very good example about myself, and I think that would relate to your son. My dad, when I went to the university, I did accounts.
Okay.
But I did it because he wanted me to do it. Actually, when he told me to do accounting, he came and told me there is a man in our village who is very rich because he did accounts.
Yes.
But that's him. When I went and got my first job as an accountant, I tell you that was the most boring job. In fact, up to today, I've never even used that certificate.
Paul, if your boss is watching.
Exactly. Okay. I hope he's not watching. I know he's in farming. Yeah?
Okay.
So what I want to say is that allow your son to flow.
Okay.
But also remind him that whatever career he's doing, a certificate is very much important.
Okay.
For growth. Because one day, sometimes we as much as our passions are good, sometimes a passion can become as irrelevant even within a day. I'll give a very good example. A footballer today may not be very relevant 10 years from now because he's growing old.
Okay.
And things are changing. So tell your son that as much as doing whatever he's doing, certificates and papers are also important.
Okay, yeah. I like that. And maybe something else that, and this affects most creatives, where you think you don't need the course. Yeah. Sometimes you need the paper to get into the door.
Exactly.
Because you'll sign contracts.
Exactly.
You will use all these, computer science, you'll use all these instruments. Like it's actually going to help. So to the person we are saying, talk to your son.
Exactly. And also you should also realize that as technology goes ahead, you need somebody to educate him on all these systems. You need to know how far is technology, what do I need to touch, what is improving, so that even as your son goes to bigger contracts and bigger companies, they can trust him.
Okay.
Don't just come and say, I can do it. People want to see papers to prove that you can do it.
Okay.
So you need papers. I think even if he's doing DJ, let him go to school.
Okay.
Let it not be a shortcut of running away from school.
Okay. Oh, yes, I like that. Or you use it as an excuse. Okay.
Exactly.
So when we tell people that in Africa it's not happening as fast, maybe we need to make it clear what we mean so that they don't think, okay, ni kama tu digital ya TV that just came, people thought it was a joke, and now here we are. But what are we telling them in regards to the gradual process?
I think we're only telling them that there is time to prepare.
Okay.
I think we're also saying that there is a warning coming, that it is not something that will happen tomorrow. The question we are telling them, what are you doing about it? Can you draw your own personal strategic plan and say, when we are doing a strategic plan, we usually have something that we usually call SWOT. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What opportunities are there with what I'm having? And what threats are there? So we are only saying that there are threats that are coming. Within 5 years, your job may be declared obsolete. What are you doing right now? So we are not...
Don't panic.
We are not saying you panic. You're only saying...
Yes.
Do a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay. Yeah? But as I was reading all this, something came to mind.
Yeah.
Even with all these, as we incorporate artificial intelligence and all these robots, kwanza the robots are the ones that scare me. Now that Russia has those that can go to war and actually fight, will we get to a point where people will miss the human touch? Where you just miss going to a cafe and having a human serve you and not necessarily a robot? Like, will it get to that point where us human beings will have a re-entry into the industries? Do you think so?
I think it is happening everywhere. And in fact, even check. How often do you meet your friends now that phone came? With phone, it replaced all our friends. Even I can tell you, the last time I saw my parents is a long time ago, just because I feel I talk to them.
You talk to them,
exactly.
Okay.
So I think since it is even happening through phones, it will also happen even within the industry, whereby even sometimes you even sit at home and get all your shopping brought at home without even any person coming.
Thanks to Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody just shows up and delivers it.
You can imagine.
Okay. Somebody has written, Oh, okay. I like this question. Should I register for my master's degree immediately after graduating with an undergraduate degree, or should I look for a job first in order to know my employer's preferences? And and that's when I go back and register for master's. Before I even hand it over to Paul, there's something, Paul, you've already said. Do I wait for my employer's preferences? What did you say? This is an industry that's governed by consumers and not...
Exactly. Yeah, it is consumer-driven and not producer-driven.
So when he says employers' preferences, I think
he's getting it wrong. We are not doing it for our employers. We are doing it for ourselves.
Okay.
And also, can I say this? There is a Kikuyu proverb, and I'll say it in English. Son does not wait for a man.
Okay.
So as much as the job has not come, don't go looking for a job. You're wasting your own time. You know, time is not waiting for you.
Okay.
If you have time on your side, go further, because there's a time you'll get a job, and looking for that time to go to school will be a problem.
Okay.
So my request is, as long as there is time to go back to class, go. As long as there is an opportunity and money to do it, go.
Okay.
But if there is no time and the job has come calling, take it, because at least you can use that money to save the income you're using for academics to start building yourself. Remember, as I said, the reason as to why we look for a job is also to build ourselves.
Yes.
Nobody wants to stay in class forever. You also have to get children. You also need to get family. Education does not make you happy. It is only an avenue to make sure that your family stays happy.
Okay.
So the question is, if you can be able to go back to class right now, go, so that the time you'll be free to go to work, at least that evening time you'd have gone to class, you are now giving it to your family. We don't want somebody who is now too late even to go to class, too late to marry, too late to do everything. I think prioritize. There is even life after class. We don't want to have so many parents in class. Because right now we have so many parents in class and children who are only at home.
Okay.
Because these parents would have done it at that particular time.
Okay.
Now the children are suffering right now.
I hear you. So there's also something he asked. Should I do my master's immediately after graduating with my undergraduate degree?
It depends with what you want to do, but my request would have been, test the job market first, know whether the job is, relating with your passion, because sometimes we may be dictated by what we have in the certificate and come to realize, oh gosh, I did my bachelor's and my master's in the wrong career. Okay. So sometimes it's good also to test the market.
And that time you've already spent
And I love
money.
something you told us about short courses. Sometimes short courses are even better than masters. It's only that the employers have brought this issue of masters. And you know what these rich guys are doing? They're no longer doing masters for furthering. They're doing something that is called executive MBA. Yes. Executive MBA is something that is tailor-made for what they are doing in office. So do you think that masters will be relevant? Are you doing it for salaries or anything? Do something that you're passionate about. Okay. Maybe then an idea would be to customize masters for specific industries. That's how it should be. And that's why we are saying our curriculums are pathetic. Tafadhali, do you want to be the CS of education? I wish I can get that opportunity. I would really, because I think like right now, it's very unfortunate. We have our children in class 1, class 2, class 3 having computers, but the students in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4 don't have computers. So it means our entry is brilliant, but our exit is wrong. Okay. That's why we are having so many people in the job market who are irrelevant, yet we are being told to wait for these guys to come and make difference. I think there's a big mess. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're so frustrated. Very, because I'm in the education sector and I can tell you it's bad. Things are tough, bad, yeah? Okay. Finally, let me ask you this question. The impact of what you're calling artificial intelligence to now us, our human relations. Already it's bad enough. We said you can go to church online. I don't advocate for bedside Baptist, by the way. Watu waende kanisa. But you can access all these things that you needed to go physically to a store or a supermarket, and now it's coming to you. Do you think it's going to interfere with our relational sides as human beings? It already has. Even at a home level, phones have broken a lot of marriages because you can chat with so many people. I'll give you a very good example. Assume there was this lady I was dating, and probably she's in Nakuru and I came to Nairobi. We no longer meet because I'm in Nairobi, but through this phone, we can engage a lot. So what this technology is doing, it has destroyed a lot. But what we should manage is not eliminating technology, but minimizing the appetite for technology. I think the appetite for technology is becoming even an addiction. I can tell you like almost 90% of Kenyans are addicted with phones. You find everybody is like these in cars, even in job places. And I can even tell you like right now, So many of guys have been sacked from workplace because of using phone or using Facebook in workplace. I think what now we need to do is to control the appetite of gadgets.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
I
the
hear
way to
you.
go, yeah.
Okay. You know, sometimes I see in traffic, the traffic will slow down for 2 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then they put it back.
Yeah. I think we need to also ask ourselves, how addicted are you? And this is a question, we keep on telling our children are addicted to drugs, addicted to everything, but are we also addicted to this technology?
Okay. So also, Paul, allow me to do this. Can we just list careers that will continue to be relevant, that actually require human beings to continue doing them? We've talked about one of them, creatives. You still need creatives to create.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure a robot is not painting a picture for sure. So maybe just give us a list of careers that
I think
are
also
still,
agriculture will be very relevant, because there is, as much as the harvesting will come through everything, but we also need human beings doing one or two, three things.
Yeah.
I think also
law. Okay.
I think machinery and everything. I think almost all careers will be what we only say. The person working, he should be at least IT compliant. I think almost we can't do, even in America where ICT is very high, they still need employees and laborers.
Yes.
Yeah, there is hope.
Okay.
There is hope.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I last thought to the young person, ametafuta kazi anashindwa mimi nitafanya nini? What can I do with myself? There's already one thing, and I really like the person who texted this and said that they went on YouTube and they studied how to do programming, and now they're making websites and apps. And I'm very passionate about young people with no jobs, because I shared with you earlier. Personally, I know what that means. So how do you make sure, even in the wake of unemployment, that you're able to use tech? You don't have to be the engineer, but you're able to use tech to create an opportunity for yourself. How do we do that?
I think number one is understanding that there are no jobs, I agree, but there is a lot of work to do. I wish somebody would get into Facebook, and instead of even thinking on how to chat, he sees it's an avenue. For example, if you go to Facebook and realize you have like 200 friends, instead of thinking on telling them, hi, how was your day, ask yourself, how can I use these 200 people? Even you can go to their profile and ask, what does this guy do? What does this guy do? What do I have that I can feed this guy with? Okay. Sometimes I think we should also see, these guys in Facebook is like people who have been brought in a room and you're asked, can you make sure that you are relevant to all these guys? Okay. So can we start also keeping friends in Facebook, friends who we can also have mutual benefits in terms of job, instead of staying chatting. I think Facebook is a good forum to ask yourself, do I have a talent? Can I sing? Can I put it in online? Can I see whether people can react? Can I cook some mandazis? Can I put it online? Can I do some design? Can I put it online and see whether I can get market? Okay. I think what we are asking ourselves is that the ICT has given us an avenue. The question now people are asking in Facebook, do you have something we can buy? Okay. Exactly.
I like that. So Paul is saying basically the tech world is big. Tap into what you think you can do.
And I'm so sure we can give everything. Everybody has, God is not a mean God. He has given somebody something. Yes. Cook some mandazis, post them on Facebook, see whether people will be asking for them. Okay. Go and sing, place it on Facebook and see whether people can buy it. You have everybody, nobody was born empty. We have something to give to the world. Okay. So instead of complaining about ICT, let's see how we can use it for our own advantage.
Something else you've said that I like, and maybe I'll close with this, is that IT is for everybody.
Exactly.
People will think it's just creatives, you're singing, you're acting, you're doing that. But I like that you said make mandazis. Maybe somebody planning a baby shower will see them or an event and then call you.
And do not be ashamed of advertising yourself.
Yeah. Africans, we've been trained not to talk about what you can do.
I love one Kagal in somewhere around Odione. That Kagal comes at 6 o'clock in the evening up to 9 with 500 eggs. I see her every day there. Imagine every egg anauza 20 bob. How much does she make?
My Waru Nation self is now showing.
500 eggs at 20 bob.
That's 10,000.
Imagine.
Per day.
Yeah, exactly. Now, toa kitu kama 5,000 expenses.
Yes.
How much is she making per day?
5,000.
Times
and she doesn't
30
work
days?
for anybody.
Imagine.
It's
so there are
150K.
opportunities there. There is something you can do. There's something you have and somebody is looking for it. And probably that somebody is in Facebook. Go and look for them.
Okay. Yeah. Paul, it was so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming through. Appreciated. I hope this gives you some hope not to demonize ICT or IT, but see where I promise you there's a place to tap in. It doesn't matter what you do. So please go do that homework after prayer circle though, because Pastor Pish is coming through with prayer circle from 7 to 8. For now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Medrin Nyambura. Tupatane kesho papa hapa.